following Earnhardt that day, much of which I will use today to try to get my first win here at Talladega.
This is Kenny Breck's 6th IROC race. His best finish came at Daytona in the first round this year. Bobby Labonte now is up front. Labonte led 6 laps at Daytona, finished 5th. Won here in IROC last year. He is the defending champion of this race, but all of a sudden he goes to the back a little bit, at least to the middle part of the pack, as he's running alongside Tony Stewart, who was our earlier leader. And now leading the way is Jeff Burton with Jeff Green and Eddie Cheever running right behind him.
The lead, the positions change so fast here at Talladega. I mean, in one lap you can change leaders 2 or 3 or 4 times, and you can almost can't get the words out, the names of the drivers out before things change.
I think you're right. In one lap, Tony Stewart, I think he went from 3rd back to 8th, back to 3rd, and now he's in 10th. So, boy, the draft just plays such a big thing here. If you can stay in with the lead group, you can really move around so quickly.
On board with Jeff Burton, the leader of the race, as we look back there on Jeff Green. Now Green will go to the inside, and Eddie Cheever will come along with him as a drafting partner. And looks like Buddy Lazier is also going to join the low line, and they're going to swoosh right by Jeff Burton, and that means that Jeff Green is going to have the lead. Burton led 5 laps at Daytona. You remember he was involved in that accident we had in the tri-oval. He ended up finishing in 10th position. And now he has just surrendered the lead to Jeff Green, as Cheever will fall into 2nd spot now as they come down to complete another lap.
Jeff Green is loving this right now. He was very disappointed at Daytona. His engine broke very early in the race. Didn't really get to run much of that race, and I know right now he was looking forward to this race. I talked to him yesterday, and he thought this could be a good chance for him to shine against some of the best drivers in the world, and he's shining right now up in front.
I'm really expecting some big things today out of Eddie Cheever and Kenny Breck. Talk to Kenny. Both these drivers are very aggressive. I think they really are ready to compete with the NASCAR drivers, go for some more wins. Of course, Eddie won last year in Michigan. But Kenny said his plan today was to just ride for the first half, really take care of the car, make sure he had the strongest car possible for that final 10 or 15 laps.
Kenny Breck running in 6th position right now in the yellow car. Now there is Jeff Burton, who was our earlier leader. He's slipped back all the way to 9th position. And notice the car running at the very tail end of the field. That is the pole sitter and the early leader, Tony Stewart. And right ahead of him is Bobby Labonte, who also led in the early going. So positions do indeed shuffle quickly.
What do you think's going on there, Jeff? It looks like Tony's continuing to even lose the draft a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I could speculate, you know, anything could be wrong. The engine's just not running up to speed like he'd like, or the car might not be handling the way it needs to be. It's a little too tight in the corner, scrubbing off some speed, but that's just speculation. But I mean, Tony's really, maybe he just got back and wanted to see if he could draft back up to the pack, and he is. He caught him back up in a matter of a half a straightaway.
You're right, though. Down the backstretch, Scott, it looked like that he was going to lose the draft, but all of a sudden he's right back up there within the draft, although he is running at the tail end of the field. So Jeff Green is your leader. Randy LaJoie is the only NASCAR Busch Series driver to win in the True Value International Race of Champions. That occurred at Michigan in July of 1997. This is the first time that Jeff has ever been out front in an IROC race. Side by side here, now 3 wide, as Labonte goes to the inside of Mark Dismore in the silver car, and that is Kenny Breck on the outside. Meanwhile, up front, Eddie Cheever is going to take a shot at the lead, and he gets it. Now, these cars are drafting together. Of course, that's been a trademark of the IROC series for the past few years. But, Jerry, they have something there in the front of the car that helps even more.
Bob, the difference here than a year ago is that they've added the 1 5/8 roof strip we had in Daytona when we had that great race down in Daytona with all the lead changes. And the drivers who practiced these cars earlier in the week, as well as the test drivers, say what a difference that 1 5/8 inch strip across the roof has made. A year ago, if you were more than 6 car lengths back, you were out of the draft. I was told by Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett, a number of the guys in this race today, that now with this roof strip, you can be 12, 13, even 14 car lengths back, and you can still sniff the air and be in the draft. So you're still in the hunt. So probably no concerns there for Tony Stewart right now.
And here comes Dale Jarrett to the bottom of the racetrack down the backstretch as he tries to form a line, and they pass by the gold car of Ricky Rudd. Rudd caught in the middle now. In the Aqua car up on the very high side of the racetrack, that is Scott Goodyear from the Indy Racing Northern Light Series. He loses positions out of the draft. Scott semi-retired after last year. He finished second in IRL point standings, but will be driving at the Indianapolis 500-mile race. And Cheever will lead them down. And Ricky Rudd now pulls to the outside and challenges Cheever as they head down for turn one again.
Boy, they are really spread all out here.
Yeah, this crowd is going wild. Three abreast, sometimes four abreast. This is the kind of racing that we're used to seeing at IROC, but I think today it's even a little bit better.
Lazier really looks like he has a strong car. When he was in the middle there, he was able to pull forward, really without much help. He's sucked back up right behind Tony Stewart now in the blue car. So keep an eye on him.
Buddy Lazier in blue up on the high side of the racetrack behind Tony Stewart. Lazier started 8th and finished 11th in round one. And look how close they're drafting there on the bottom of the racetrack with Green and Cheever touching. Now they're 4 wide as they come out of turn number 4 and down through the tri-oval, and the fans are on their feet. And Ricky Rudd, it appears, is going to come down and lead this lap, or is he? No, it's Tony Stewart who grabs the advantage on the outside.
Now wait a minute. Tony Stewart was last just a few laps ago, and he takes the lead on lap 14. And look at Jeff Green. He made a great move coming off of turn 4, made it 4 wide. I really think he learned that move from Dale, the late Dale Earnhardt. Dale was famous for coming underneath people down off of turn 4, down through the short chutes and taking the lead.
In the first 14 laps of this race, we've had 6 lead changes among 5 different drivers. Round 2 of IROC 25 continues in a moment. 25 took place at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway in February, with the legendary Dale Earnhardt starting from the pole position in green. The race was red flagged when the Rose car of Jeff Burton on the inside of Earnhardt suddenly veered right, collecting several cars, including Earnhardt, IRL champion Buddy Lazier, and Mark Dismore. Earnhardt spent valuable time in the pits fixing the damage and looked to be out of the hunt, but ended up battling for the lead with Eddie Cheever. This save was a true indication of Earnhardt's incredible driving ability, which led him to 4 IROC championships, but was not enough to put him in victory lane this day. Dale Jarrett in blue took the lead and went on to score his first career IROC win.
This Wide World of Sports update brought to you by Speed Pass. Today's way to pay. It's free from mobile.
Well, here at Talladega, Dale Jarrett, the winner of the first round in Daytona, is very much in contention here today. As a matter of fact, he has taken the lead now from Bobby Labonte, and Jarrett, who's having a great season in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. And really, it all began with that win in the IROC Series. Here he is leading once again.
And there goes Eddie Cheever, Kenny Brack down to the inside. See if these two can't work together and get their way up there.
That's our 9th lead change. 6 of the 11 drivers in the race have led at one point in this event. Kramer running second, and Bobby Labonte now the white car up top, and Jeff Green begins to move the bottom line.
That's right. Just a few laps ago, he was in the lead, then he went to the rear, and now he's back up into second place right now. I mean, this is absolutely amazing the way these cars are drafting and the way these drivers are driving these cars.
What a race for the fans. I mean, it's just one big pack. Typically, a couple guys maybe start to lose touch, but the way these cars are drafting, how well they're working together, to just stay together and be able to move all over the track.
Now Jarrett will lose the lead as he gets caught out on the high side, and Jeff Green is going to lead that lap. Tony Stewart second. Mark Dismore running in 3rd spot in the silver car.
And this all looks really easy and nice and the way it's supposed to be, but these fellas are really working out there. I mean, I don't care how good the cars are handling or how well they're driving or drafting. These drivers are driving really, really hard to put the show on and to make these moves that we're seeing them make.
But Jeffrey, when do you reach the point where, okay, showtime is over, you got to think toward winning the race itself?
Well, they're thinking about that right now, actually, Bob. They're trying their car. They're seeing where they have an advantage, where they can take an advantage on the guy in front of them, where the draft works best for them. And we've seen Jeff Green come off turn 4 in second or third place, and by the time he got to the finish line on the low side, he was leading the race. So I'm sure he's going to try to save that loop to the end if he needs it. But of course, the other drivers are watching what he's doing, so they're also putting that in their computers, and everyone right now is just trying to figure out how they can win this race.
Running back in fourth position is Buddy Lazier, the defending champion of the Indy Racing Northern Light Series. Jerry Punch.
And Bob, before this race today, many of the drivers were standing in a little circle at the head of the grid talking and visiting about what could happen here for these 38 laps. But Buddy Lazier was not among them. He was standing back all by his lonesome, staring at his car. I walked over and I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I really am focused." And I walked over to his dad, Bob Lazier, and I said, "What's wrong with Buddy?" He said, "Nothing." But last night he told me he firmly believes he can win this race here today.
You race against him regularly, Scott. You know that he is a very focused race driver all the time.
He very much is. He puts his all into it. No one drives harder, I think, in every race, every lap out there. Buddy really drives the Indy Racing League cars hard, and I've been really impressed how well he's adapted to these cars. I probably, of all these drivers out here, I think Buddy has the least miles, and he's really acted more like a veteran than a rookie.
And how about your Kelly teammate in the Indy Racing Northern Light Series, Mark Dismore, who's running third?
It's great to see how Mark's doing. Mark's just gotten himself to the front of the field. I think he was running second at Daytona when he got caught up in the other accident there, and I think he feels really confident after getting a season under his belt, and feels he too can make a good charge in this race.
But the man of the moment is Jeff Green, who leads race number 2 of IROC 25 at Talladega. 23 of 38 laps completed. Laps all. We've got a little less than 12 to go, and things are pretty much the way they were a few minutes ago up front as Jeff Green continues to lead this race, with Tony Stewart running second, Mark Dismore running third, and Buddy Lazier is fourth. Those 4 cars in a bit of a breakaway, although it isn't too far back to the 5th place car, which is now Dale Jarrett.
And really, we haven't been able to see anybody work together and get a chance to break away. The draft always has been able to just suck everybody right back up together. It's been pretty impressive today.
Yeah, normally we see 1 or 2 cars lose the draft or have mechanical problems or whatever, but now with less than 10 laps to go, everybody is still in the race, and everybody very close to each other.
Scott, you know, I'm a Winston Cup driver, and I've won in IROC, and even for me, I mean, winning in IROC was a great thrill, and I thought a great feather in my cap. But what would it mean to a guy like Dismore or Lazier to actually win an IROC race, especially on a track like this at Talladega?
I really think it would be huge. I mean, it's a bit daunting, let's be honest, to come here, especially as a rookie, and you're competing against the best of the NASCAR drivers on their track in their cars. You come here thinking, boy, what chance do I really have? But you can't think that way. You've got to drive aggressively as you can and hope you're lucky enough to get yourself in the right spot towards the end of the race. And I know I think both these guys are really having a lot of confidence. They have had more time in the car, and I've been really impressed to see the way these guys have really just stood on the button, stood on the throttle, and if they can get a little help, they might just have a chance of being able to pull this off. Look at Mark's running great. He's running third right now. I think he's running a real smart race. As a couple other the open-wheel guys around him, he might have a real good shot here.
It was back in 1994 when you, Scott, were competing here at Talladega that we had what was perhaps the greatest upset in the history of the International Race of Champions when Steve Kinser won at this facility.
Yes, he had a really strong day that day, and you know, it was a fun race, certainly for me to be a part of. I really liked being here at Talladega. It was the outside line here at Talladega impressed me how fast it was compared to some of the other tracks we ran on. I think that's what keeps the pack together so well.
Jerry Punch, they remain in basically the same order as Mark Dismore running third.
Exactly, Bob, and the True Value IROC mechanics are impartial. They have no favorites in this race, but I will tell you that many of these mechanics have become very close to Mark and Donna Dismore. Why, you say? Because Mark Dismore has come to every single racetrack on the very first day you could practice and is in the car as many laps as they will let him be in the race car. He realized what Scott Sharp said a minute ago. You're on a NASCAR racetrack. You're on their racetrack, on their ovals, in their kind of cars, so you're at somewhat of a disadvantage, so he wanted to learn. And wow, has he ever learned, and he has impressed so many of these IROC mechanics down here on pit road. road that they have actually quietly become Mark Dismore fans.
Well, to finish that off, Jerry, I think Mark was really a bit depressed at how his year ended up in the series last year and wanted to come back with a vengeance, wanted to come back with a lot of commitment. And like you said, he's taken advantage of all the track time, wants to just see just how strong he can run. And boy, talking about what Jeff said earlier, a win would mean the world, I think, to Mark in this series.
And he was very depressed, of course, after the Daytona round, too, because he did run well in that race, but was caught up in the accident that involved several drivers. But right now, Dismore is looking good. He's in third there behind Tony Stewart and Jeff Green, who continues to show the way here, as once again we're seeing, for the most part, a single file formation down the backstretch. Buddy Lazier running fourth. Then it's Ricky Rudd, followed by Kenny Breck. And that's where they begin to run side by side as Jeff Burton has taken his violet colored car down to the inside of the racetrack, and Bobby Labonte is going to follow him, so Breck may be hung out here and lose positions. Less than 8 laps to go, the finish when we return to Talladega. Sports is in beautiful Montego Bay, Jamaica, where NFL players, Olympic medalists, and college athletes match speed, strength, and skill. The Snapple Superstars tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern here on ABC. Well, up front, it is still Jeff Green with Tony Stewart behind. Here comes Jeff Burton making an aggressive move to the inside of the racetrack and bringing with him Bobby Labonte. Mark Dismore has lost some positions and is now running back there with Ricky Rudd and Dale Jarrett.
This is where it gets really, really tough. A lot of laps on the tires are hot. 5 laps to go. Everyone's trying to get in the right position to make that move at the end to try to win this race. And this is when you need to be aggressive, like we've talked about all through this whole race, Scott. If you're not aggressive here, you're not going to even get close to the front. And it looks to me like there's some aggression out there. Guys are using it.
3 wide through the corner. Cheever's in the middle. Breck's on the bottom and Rudd's on the high side of the racetrack. And now here comes Dale Jarrett in the red car.
Who can they team up with? Who's going to help them? Who are they going to help? Who's going to get them in the best position to try to win this race? The guys in the back they're not pleased to be that far right now. They're going to do everything they can to get up front, but there's Tony Stewart. I just can't believe it. Yeah, that's Stewart and Ricky Rudd way in the back, and Stewart had a car that was leading the race not too long ago.
So Scott Goodyear has fallen all the way back to the tail of the field. We saw some hand signals being used out there. What's that all about?
Well, certainly, I think the NASCAR guys really work well with each other. No, just a quick little point of the finger, and that's what Scott told me. He said he was amazed. He was leading, looking in his mirror, saw a couple in practice, a couple little hand signals. The next thing he knew, he's lost the draft and been passed by everybody. So certainly these guys know the air, know the movement. It's home for them, and boy, we're looking forward to a few guys starting to lose a little bit of track space back there. There's just a few laps to go, Jeff. Well, you really got to be in the top 5, 6 positions, don't you, to have any shot probably at making a run for the win.
Well, that's what you would think, but I've seen strange things happen. Guys come from the back to the front in a matter of a half a lap. So, you know, I'm not counting anyone out right now, but that back 3 or 4 cars have appeared to have lost the draft.
Oh, Kenny Brack on the grass a little bit there.
To the grass.
They like running on the below the apron there.
That's aggressive. There you go.
I told you.
He moves alongside Buddy Lazier up on the top side of the racetrack. And here comes Dale Jarrett. Now, Jeff Green has led 14 laps, and he will earn the 5 bonus points. Jarrett hard into the wall. Lazier spins around, and
Mark Dismore through pit lane.
Yep. Caution flag is out. Jarrett took a hard shot to the outside wall. Lazier slides to the grass, and he will keep going, it would appear, but
Lazier looks okay, I think. Yeah.
Dale Jarrett's car is stopped, and let's look for that movement inside there. Well, he is moving around, so that's good news. There is Buddy Lazier as he's going to bring his car, it would appear, down to the IROC pit area and stop.
Now, yellow flag laps don't count here in IROC racing. So that'll mean I think that we'll still have 3 laps to go.
They're going to change the tires on
Three-lap
Buddy's
dash.
car. He flat spotted those tires, and they're flat, so he's going to end up with 4 new tires, or maybe just 2, but probably 4.
Might be a nice advantage for him with 3 laps to go.
It could be, right. It's like
Let's take a look at what happened. Jarrett's on the bottom, Lazier on the top. Oh, Lazier gets a little bump from Cheever, it looked like.
It did look like that. And chain reaction. Buddy gave a little bounce there to Dale Jarrett.
And here is another angle. There's the contact between Cheever and Lazier.
Wow, it really looked like Eddie's car just slid up the bankment, didn't it?
Well, that's what I said a few laps ago. This is when it gets tough. The tires are wore down. They're hot. The cars aren't handling like they were in the beginning part of this race. And there's an example of it. The car took off on Eddie, and he went up and
there were 4 drivers that were behind this accident, and they did a great job of avoiding that incident. Dale Jarrett, we're glad to see, is out of his car, walking away, waving to the fans. He's fine, but the winner of the Daytona round is out of competition here at Talladega. 3 laps to go. Back in a moment. To go back to green flag racing for 3 laps to settle round 2 of the True Value IROC 25 race here at Talladega. We're coming off a caution created by an incident down in turn number 4 as they come off the 33 degrees of banking onto the tri-oval. Here's what happened. Watch the cream-colored car back there driven by Eddie Cheever as it slides up the racetrack and hits Buddy Lazier. And Lazier is into Jarrett, and Jarrett ended up getting the worst of the deal.
Boy, he did. It was almost a chain reaction. Certainly sent Buddy spinning. And look at all these cars. Boy, Mark Dismore in the silver car there at the bottom did a great job, committed to the inside, and that could have been ugly. Boy, he got right through there, though.
Drove down pit lane, but that's fine. He missed the accident, and we're on board now with Mark. Let's watch and listen.
A brief second, you can't see anything.
he made the right move. I mean, he lost some positions on the track, but he didn't wreck his car. He's still out there in the race, still has a chance.
There's Dismore in silver, Cheever in the cream-colored car. 2 abreast restart as we come down now to begin the dash to the checkered flag. Pace car still on the racetrack. It'll be making its hard left onto the pit road, and 3 laps of racing remain to settle it. Jeff Green has done an outstanding job here this afternoon in leading the most laps, but the most important ones are yet to come.
This double file restart adds another little twist to what could happen here in the last 3 laps.
Oh boy, there it goes. Scott Goodyear got a jump down there on the apron.
Already 4 wide racing on the apron.
I'll tell you guys, the fans are on their feet. They know there's a lot of expectation for these last few laps.
Look at this.
There we go, leaning on each other.
Oh, 4 wide into the corner. Lazier thinks better of it. He'll drop back behind Ricky Rudd. Meanwhile, we have a 6-car breakaway, at least for the moment. Lazier, remember, has fresh tires, so his car may have a slight advantage, but then again, he's back at the rear of the field. Green and Breck are battling for the lead up front. Jeff Burton, who was running second in that violet car, has moved up to the top of the racetrack and is out of the draft.
Here comes Mark Dismore. He's in 5th, right behind Eddie Cheever. See what can happen here with 2 to go as they come by the start-finish line.
Jeff Green has done an outstanding job to run the way he's run today and maintain that lead on this race restart. It has a good car, but he's doing a great job driving.
This is only his 2nd start in True Value IROC competition. He started last and finished last at Daytona, but Talladega has been a different story. He has led since lap number 21, but can he lead the final 2? They begin to shuffle around.
There goes some moves.
Bumping. Bump. And here comes Burton to the inside.
And there's Goodyear in there.
And he and Breck may have come together briefly.
Eddie Cheever was trying to push Labonte by. Now look where he's going. He's going to the rear. He got the wrong position.
Blue car Lazier with his new tires.
And there's Labonte underneath guys. Green.
And Bobby Labonte takes the lead as they come down.
Oh, Kenny.
The white flag.
No, he has the draft there. Who's in He dragged Scott Goodyear up to third. Come on, guys. I tell you, they've got a good position here.
Bobby Labonte won this race last year. Can he do it again?
Got three open wheel guys there in second, third, and fourth, guys.
Look how
some dicing going on here. Bumping.
Buddy Lazier out of control momentarily. Well, here they come through the third and fourth turns on the last lap of the second round of the True Value IROC 25 Series. Up front, it's Bobby Labonte. Kenny Breck running second. Then it's Buddy Lazier. They come onto the trioval for the final time and pass by the main grandstand as the fans are cheering. And they race to the line, and it's going to be Bobby Labonte winning 2 years in a row at Talladega.
That was an exciting last lap.
Well, typical IROC competition all the way through, and Labonte has his hand out the window saluting the fans as they cheer for him.
Boy, that really was a great race for the fans. The entire 38 laps, one big pack, constant shuffling.
Well, he led 15 laps, including the last 12 last year, but he didn't lead that many this year. Nevertheless, Bobby Labonte wins again at Talladega. Back in a moment.
Two drivers that had pretty good days here at Talladega are standing with me now. Eddie Cheever, who won last year at Michigan, finishing 5th today, and the guy who led the most laps, the reigning Busch Series champion, Jeff Green, who finished back in 8th spot. Let me ask Eddie first. Eddie, you did a heck of a job giving the winner here a little bit of a bump all afternoon and giving some drafting help to Bobby Labonte.
You give help to everybody. We were working together for about 15 laps, and then somebody else swaps it. It was a great race. It's the easiest race I've been in to get in front to back and just make one mistake and you go all the way back, but it was a great race. It was fought all the way through the last corner. I think 5 or 6 people changed position in the last corners. This is all about working with everybody, but Bobby had a great race today.
Eddie Cheever finishing 5th, and Jeff Green, a rookie in IROC but a reigning Busch Series champion, led the most laps at Talladega in an all-star group. You got to have a big smile for what you did today.
Well, my hat's off to these IROC guys. As close as these cars are, it's just fun to drive, Jerry, and I just put myself in position. I learned a lot in the Busch race today, and Mike McLaughlin taught me a lot around the bottom there, and I knew somebody was going to have to turn me sideways to get by me there at the end, and Bobby got into me a little bit, lifted my wheels up off the ground, and made me turn right enough where he could get up under me. But it was a great race. My hat's off to him. He did what he had to do, but I told him, man, I wish the Busch guy could have won, but he kind of smiled at me. But it's just fun to be in here. It's an honor. You know, if I finished last, it didn't matter to me. Just an honor for Jeff Green to be driving one of these IROC cars and show what I can do.
Well, 2 great finishes for Jeff Green and Buddy Lazier and Eddie Cheever. We'll be back to talk to Bobby Labonte, who's won 2 in a row at Talladega, in a moment.
ESPN's presentation of round 2 of IROC 25 from Talladega Superspeedway has been brought to you by True Value, where help is just around the corner. 2 of 4 rounds completed in IROC 25, and the results today show that Bobby Labonte, of course, won the race with Kenny Breck finishing in 2nd position. Lazier, Rudd, Cheever, Burton, Dismore, Green finished in 8th position. Certainly not an indication of how he ran all day. He led the most laps here this afternoon. Let's go down to Victory Lane.
Bobby Labonte climbs out in Victory Lane. He has won round 2 of the True Value International Race of Champions here at Talladega Superspeedway. The reigning NASCAR Winston Cup champion makes it 2 in a row at Talladega, and Bobby 2 in a row at a very tough racetrack.
I tell you what, you know, this is a tough racetrack, and Earnhardt's taught me a lot here, that's for sure. With a little bit of time I've been around here, but you know, I mean, it's gosh, I don't know what to say other than all these guys that work on these IROC cars, Jay Signori and all these guys, and just want to thank True Value and Goodyear and you know, everybody at IROC. And you know, we got a Make-A-Wish kid, Charles, here today that's with us, and that's just great. And you know, the thing that means the most to me today is that you know, last year we beat Earnhardt here, and we had a lot of good competitors today, but you know, Earnhardt, this is for him because you know, it's this series, you know, just was a lot. This series was a lot with him in it. So anyway, it was great win today, and just glad to come home first. And the 3 cars always, number 3 is always on our mind.
Bobby, I know Dale has to be staring down with a huge smile from above as you get a big kiss from Donna, appreciating your salute and your tribute to him for what he did in this series. As you looked on that final lap and looked in the mirror, you had to think maybe you were getting surrounded by the open wheel guys. 3 open wheel guys right behind you trying to make a move.
Yeah, I tell you what, Eddie Cheever, we worked good all day today, and then Kenny Brack there at the end. I saw them guys get 3 wide, 4 wide there at the end, and I saw Kenny was behind me, and I just knew to keep him, wherever he went, I was going, and just basically to block him, and that was the key there on the last lap. I just stayed in front of him, and he didn't have nobody really push him to pressure me a lot, and that's what Jeff Burton and I did earlier to get to the front, was we pressured a lot of guys and, got up underneath them, but, it was just a great day.
Now, it could be an omen for Bobby Labonte. A year ago, he won IROC at Talladega, went on and became the Winston Cup champion, and now he does it again, 2 in a row at Talladega. Bob Jenkins?
Let's take a look at the point standings after 2 of 4 rounds. Bobby Labonte is on top of the standings. Rudd second. Kenny Brack is third. Best of the open wheel drivers. Dale Jarrett, by the way, who won round 1 and is 4th in the point standings, is okay. He was checked out at the infield medical center. He's okay after the wall incident up there in turn number 4. Eddie Cheever is 5th in the point standings. Let's go back down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Great effort today at Talladega. It's close, but not quite close enough.
No, not quite close enough. We had a good run, but in the end, I didn't have anyone behind me to push me, and I couldn't get up to Bobby's quarter panel. So I finished second, but it's a good finish. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of excitement.
Hey, buddy, effort after effort. I mean, you were so focused that you thought you could win this thing and had a great run.
Yeah, it was really good. I just got turned around there and had to spend some time in the infield spinning. But other than that, it just ran good. And finally getting used to drafting with these cars, and it's just a lot of fun. It's some great race drivers out there and just a lot of fun.
Well, they've sipped the milk at Indianapolis. They came close to sipping the champagne at Talladega today.
Second and third place finishers here today. Round 3 will be coming up from Michigan Speedway. That will be on Saturday, June the 9th at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Dr. Punch, Scott Sharp, Jeffrey Bodine, and Ray Dunlap will be there. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Jeffrey Bodine, Scott Sharp, and Dr. Jerry Punch, I'm Bob Jenkins.